Welcome to the Clockwork Eye. We hope you enjoy our first audiobook. Have you ever known a real Jekyll and Hyde character? Please let us know in the comments section below. If would like more from the Clockwork Eye, please subscribe and choose the correct notification bell for your preference. Thank you. The Duality of Human Nature. A Thorough Exposition. By Frank Pendlebury. Introduction. Since time immemorial, the complex tapestry of the human psyche has been a subject of perpetual intrigue and contemplation. The notion of human duality, specifically, has insinuated itself into various epochs of literature, metaphysical ponderings, and philosophical treatises. This duality suggests an omnipresent bifurcation in our essence, akin to the two faces of Janus, the ancient Roman god of beginnings, transitions, and endings. On one hand, we possess attributes that resonate with altruism, rectitude, benevolence, and the loftiest of human virtues. Yet, shadowing this luminous side is its antithesis, a realm characterized by obscure urges, capricious irrationalities, and moral deviances. It is this captivating duality, this dichotomy of the human spirit, that has provided fertile ground for the intellectual quests of many a thinker, writer, and scholar. Not merely an abstract idea, this duality is seen as a reflection of the inherent contradictions and tumultuous conflicts that punctuate the narrative of human existence. One of the most emblematic literary exemplars elucidating this profound concept is Robert Louis Stevenson's magnum opus, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In this enigmatic novella, Stevenson delves deep into the labyrinthine recesses of the human mind, crafting a narrative that is as disconcerting as it is revelatory. This narrative not only accentuates the internal dichotomies that exist within an individual but also probes the societal and moral implications of such a division. By utilizing the allegorical metamorphosis of Dr. Jekyll into Mr. Hyde, Stevenson adroitly and poignantly presents a commentary, both somber and introspective, on the multifaceted dimensions of the human duality. As Carl Jung, the eminent Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, postulated in his exploration of the shadow self, these darker aspects are not mere aberrations, but integral components of our psychic constitution. They remain latent, often suppressed by the conscious mind, but their existence is undeniable and their manifestations, at times, inescapable. The journey through this discourse is not merely an academic endeavor but a quest to fathom the very core of our being, shedding light on the twilight zones of our psyche. 1. Dr. Henry Jekyll's unveiling of the human psyche, an exegesis. Dr. Henry Jekyll, an exemplar of both the medical and scientific communities, finds himself ensnared by an esoteric fascination, a compulsion, one might say, that borders on the obsessional. Driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge and an underlying desire to transcend the extant paradigms of human understanding, Jekyll embarks on a daring and audacious venture, the disentanglement of the Janus-faced facets of human nature. The underpinning hypothesis of his experiment is monumental, suggesting not merely the existence of the binary opposites within the human psyche, but that these polar elements might be bifurcated, distilled, and observed in isolation. To this end, Dr. Jekyll meticulously crafts an elixir, a potion of such profound potency, that upon consumption, it would serve as a bridge, a conduit, allowing him to metamorphose into the very manifestation of his baser instincts, his shadow self, whom he names Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde is not merely a separate entity but symbolizes the darkest recesses of the human soul, the unbridled passions, and the uncensored urges that society, in its quest for order and propriety, often endeavors to suppress. Through this chilling incarnation, Stevenson's narrative suggests that the duality of human nature is not just a philosophical abstraction but a tangible, palpable reality. Yet, as with many pioneering endeavors that tread the precipice of human understanding, Jekyll's aspirations are not without their dire ramifications. As the tale unravels, a poignant truth emerges: the demarcation of good and evil, light and shadow, might not be as clear-cut as postulated. Moreover, the very act of segregation, far from granting control, might indeed exacerbate the tumultuous interplay of these opposing forces. The Jekyll-Hyde dichotomy thus serves as a poignant parable, a cautionary tale illustrating the perils of tampering with the delicate equilibrium of our innate duality. It beckons us to reflect upon the inexorable bond between our luminous and shadowy facets and to acknowledge that an attempt to isolate one might irrevocably destabilize the essence of our being. 2. The eclipsed self, a deconstruction of Mr. Hyde. In the immense continuum of human nature, where luminosity and shadow engage in a perpetual dance, Mr. Hyde emerges as the very epitome of humanity's nether realms. He is not merely a character, but a profound symbol, a dark simulacrum of the base, unhinged, and unrestrained aspects of our psyche. Mr. Hyde is not merely dark, he is a chasm of malevolence, where every vestige of morality, restraint, and social decorum is conspicuously absent. His every action, marinated in cruelty and punctuated with violence, serves as a chilling testament to unchecked and unbridled human impulses. He is an entity untamed, manifestation of primal instincts, devoid of the veneer of civilization or the dictates of conscience. In Hyde, Stevenson gives us more than a mere antagonist. He offers a mirror, albeit a distorted one, reflecting the intoxicating allure of unshackled desire. For Dr. Jekyll, the emergence of Hyde is not just an aberration, but an elixir of liberation. In Hyde, Jekyll discovers a potency, a vivacity that he has never hitherto experienced, a raw, unmitigated freedom that transcends societal strictures and moral injunctions. This newfound liberation, however, is double-edged. While it confers power, it also ensnares, becoming an addiction, a siren call that is simultaneously seductive and treacherous. Stevenson's portrayal of Mr. Hyde underscores a profound psychological truism: the suppression, the deliberate quelling of intrinsic desires, rather than mitigating them, can often amplify these urges, driving them into the subterranean recesses of the subconscious. When denied expression, these suppressed desires, like pent-up volcanoes, might eventually erupt with a force both catastrophic and uncontrollable. The narrative trajectory of Mr. Hyde serves as a salient reminder of the perils of stifling one's innate impulses. It postulates the inherent danger of pushing the shadow self into obscurity, suggesting that reconciliation, rather than repression, might be the key to understanding and harmonizing the multifaceted dimensions of our psyche. 3. The alchemy of repression, reverberations within the psyche. Within the elaborate maze of human cognition and emotion, the act of repression serves as a potent catalyst, instigating unforeseen and often tumultuous consequences. Jekyll's foray into the realm of self-experimentation provides an evocative lens into this psychological phenomenon. His ambitious endeavor, rather than quelling the tempests within, inadvertently amplifies the very storms he seeks to stifle. Jekyll's attempts at curtailing his baser instincts, rather than extinguishing them, paradoxically breathe life into these submerged desires. As if adhering to some inexorable law of psychic physics, the energy of his repressed desires does not dissipate. Instead, it coalesces, crystallizes, and ultimately erupts, birthing the monstrous alter ego that is Mr. Hyde. Stevenson, through this transformation, paints a chilling tableau of the pernicious aftermath of repression, suggesting that the chains of self-denial, when tightened excessively, can snap with disastrous reverberations. The emergence of Mr. Hyde is not merely an isolated metamorphosis, but an emblematic representation of the potential lurking within all of humanity. It serves as a cautionary tale, accentuating the dangers of continually relegating one's impulses to the shadows. Such a relegation, rather than fostering equilibrium, engenders a schism, a fragmentation of the self. Stevenson's narrative postulates a compelling truth: the duality within us is not an anomaly to be corrected, but a reality to be embraced. It underscores the imperative of recognizing and accepting the multifarious shades of our nature. To eschew or deny any facet of our being is to risk engendering discord and dissonance. In our quest for holistic self-awareness, it becomes incumbent upon us, as sentient beings, to not merely recognize our penumbral urges, but to forge pathways for their healthy and constructive expression. Only in this symphonic amalgamation of light and shadow can we hope to achieve true internal harmony and a profound understanding of our complex nature. 4. The Erosion of Will, an Odyssey into Psychic Abandon. As Stevenson's narrative unfolds, we bear witness to a haunting descent, spiraling into the abyss of self-abandon. The trajectory of Dr. Jekyll's metamorphosis charts not merely a physical alteration, but represents a profound allegory of the human psyche's fragility when besieged by unchecked passions. Initially, Jekyll's dalliance with his alter ego, Mr. Hyde, appears governed by conscious volition, an orchestrated venture into the shadow realm. However, as the sands of time slip inexorably forward, we observe a terrifying shift. The very machinations that Jekyll believed he had mastered begin to rebel, defying his calculated designs. The alchemical potion, which once served as the bridge between his dual natures, progressively becomes redundant. Hyde, the embodiment of repressed desires and unbridled instinct, begins to emerge spontaneously, underscoring the profound truth: the psyche, when continually denied or restrained, eventually seeks its own avenues of expression. This unbidden emergence of Mr. Hyde posits a chilling thesis on the nature of internal restraints and their impermanence. It elucidates the idea that when the darker facets of our nature are continually oppressed, they do not simply vanish into oblivion, but instead lie dormant, accruing momentum. And when they do surge forth, their intensity, magnified by prolonged suppression, can be overwhelming, often annihilating the very barriers that sought to contain them. Stevenson's portrayal underscores the perilous nature of treading on the precipice of self-control. It delineates the delicate balance required in navigating our intrinsic duality, emphasizing that a loss of equilibrium can result in an irrevocable subjugation of one's will. In this evocative tapestry of transformation and abandon, we are compelled to reflect on the intricate dynamics of restraint and release. It serves as a poignant reminder that true mastery over one's nature does not lie in mere suppression, but in understanding, acceptance, and the harmonious integration of all facets of our being. 5. The Denouement in Shadows, an Elegy to Jekyll's Fate. Whilst engaging with the twilight pages of Stevenson's narrative, we are confronted with the poignant and gut-wrenching climax of Dr. Jekyll's Odyssey, a denouement steeped in tragedy and infused with profound existential undertones. His ultimate act of self-effacement, a desperate attempt to curtail the inexorable ascendancy of Mr. Hyde, serves as a somber testament to the potential devastation wrought by internal discord. Jekyll's demise by his own hand is not a mere act of desperation, it is a profound, albeit tragic, gesture of self-awareness. Recognizing the inescapable eventuality of Hyde's dominance, a culmination of unchecked indulgence, he chooses termination over submission. It is a final assertion of agency, a poignant act of autonomy in the face of impending subjugation. The grim finale stands as an allegorical reflection on the cataclysmic repercussions of surrendering, without restraint, to our basest impulses. The eclipse of Jekyll by the monstrous spectre of Hyde encapsulates the dangers of unchecked hedonism, the peril that ensues when one's darker proclivities are permitted unfettered reign. Conversely, it also shines a spotlight on the equally dire consequences of extreme repression. It underscores the fragile equilibrium between indulgence and restraint, positing that the key to a harmonious existence lies in striking a delicate balance. Stevenson's magnum opus concludes with an elegiac note, compelling readers to introspect on the dualities inherent within them. The tragic tableau of Jekyll's final moments implores us to acknowledge and reconcile with the multifaceted nature of our being. It is a potent reminder that while suppression can birth monsters, unbridled indulgence can unleash them. In the interplay of light and shadow, harmony and integration emerge not merely as ideals but as imperatives for self-preservation. 6. The Scales of Self, a revelation from Jekyll's journey. Within the chronicles of literary exploration on the intricacies of human nature, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde stands as an enduring beacon, shedding luminescence upon the delicate balance of human duality. The novella is not merely a Gothic tale of transformation but a profound philosophical exegesis, delving into the polarities that constitute our essence. Stevenson's masterful narrative encapsulates the quintessential human struggle, a perpetual oscillation between the ethereal loftiness of virtue and the murky depths of vice. By portraying Dr. Jekyll's harrowing journey, the narrative eloquently conveys that the human soul is not a monolithic entity but a mosaic of light and shade. To tip the scales too far in either direction, whether through suppression or indulgence, can engender consequences that reverberate through the very core of one's being. The narrative's potency arises from its poignant assertion: the path to a holistic existence does not lie in the renunciation of one aspect of our nature for the other. Rather, it beckons us towards introspection, urging the acknowledgement of both our luminous virtues and our shadowy vices. It is a clarion call to embrace our complexities, to confront and reconcile with the dichotomies within, and to carve avenues for the healthy expression of our manifold impulses. As the final curtain falls on Stevenson's tale, it leaves behind a resonant echo, a reminder of the imperativeness of equilibrium in the dance of duality. It underscores the truth that true fulfillment and inner harmony are achieved not through domination but integration, not in fragmentation but in the union of our myriad facets. In the intricate ballet of light and shadow, it is the symphony of balance that orchestrates a life of true richness and depth.